Damn, we lucky number gave us all 43 and shit. Damn, we all right then.
So these 6 minutes are great.
Yeah. All right, we cool. Norman gave us a whole fucking session. He's like, all right, these guys. All right.
So
cool.
the cameras are on, and it's both of them. That's great.
Cool.
No, I was saying when I just remember when we were shooting videos.
Oh yes.
It was like what 2010. Mm-hmm. I was really excited about that shit because it was rare, right? So I was working this really good job, so I had some cash to burn and shit, and I was like, man, let's rent a fucking van. We're going to Peoria to Bradley University. We're gonna throw a fucking frat party. I was like, bro, I blew like $3,000 and these motherfuckers fucked up. We were at a hotel and they're smoking in the hotel and we all got kicked out. And then somebody had like one of those pillows that they loved since childhood and that shit got left behind. I was like, I'm sorry, you've never seen that shit again. Like y'all shouldn't have been smoking. But $3,000 and the only thing I remember about that fucking video was the white balance because everyone was too drunk to film the damn thing.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's fun. Fun time. No, videos are long days. I've had my share from supporting homies at their videos and just sticking around for the day or having our own and there being some long sessions. But yeah. But yeah, how was your day, bro? We can start with that and then we'll go into...
You know, I listened to Shook ones before I got here.
Okay. You hyped yourself up a little bit?
I feel like I really needed that shit.
Word, that's dope.
That first verse?
Yeah.
That's my shit. The second verse, I don't really know.
That's cool. How about anything productive you got done today out of your list?
Yeah, you know, honestly, putting our channel together with the limited resources that are available.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Sponsors, holla at us.
Yeah, you know, we ready.
Yeah. So as far as myself, day was cool. Same thing. Been working on our podcast stuff. Working with some of the artists. We were here last night actually at the studio working with the Generación guys.
Yeah.
Not last night, the day before that. My bad. Good. We got the original songs done, and then we got a cover that they wanted to do with Chicano. So they're both going to be dropping that together as a freebie. And they wanted to shoot a video for that. So that was cool. We had some guy playing the tuba and the accordion.
That's what he told me. He was like, I got a tuba coming in. I was like, damn.
Charchetas. We had the whole thing, bro. So it was fire. Those homies are dope. And today we got hit up, bro, random as fuck. I'm at Denny's. Yeah, this was what highlighted my day. Look at that. I just remembered. So I'm at Denny's with my wife and having breakfast. It was some random last minute. We pulled up and we're having, this is more like lunch.
What are you ordering at Denny's? The Grand Slam?
Nah, I actually ordered a burger. I never do. I know, random. I was going to go with the Grand Slam. But my wife kept telling me her dad liked the burger. I was like, I'm going to get a burger. So I got the burger. That's not the highlight of my day, though.
All right.
It was a rough call today. It was a random one. Just bear with me. I usually tend to pick better spots, but today was Denny's. So it was random. But we're sitting there, and I'm drinking coffee. Don't question the coffee with the burger. I decided about the burger after I had ordered the coffee. It's a long story. So, but I'm sitting there, and I get a call to the Loop Theory number I have. And there's some dude from Montreal, Canada, telling me he wants to book the Generación Especial guys for some May 6th festival. Because someone sent them a YouTube video. Yo,
that's crazy.
And I was just like, so I hit up the shorties and I was like, yo, y'all got to get your passports.
Is it the North by Northeast?
No, that's some local stuff. He's like, but there's not a lot of Mexicanos out here, so we're trying to get something going.
Wow.
He's like, but yeah, someone sent me a YouTube video, you guys. He's like, oh, let me know. So I was like, cool. So I hit him up right after. I'm like, yo, we got to get these passports. And they, they're excited. They're young. But yeah, that was random and that was beautiful. The power
of word of mouth is just insane.
Yes. So that it goes to show us that these little live performance videos, every little bit of effort that these artists are putting to put out their content,
all of it matters, and it also shows how important the algorithm is for like this Reels and TikTok thing that's going on right now,
and talent and word of mouth.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So someone thought they were dope, shared the link. Wow. This guy was like, "Yep, hit me up," and I'm over here eating and
a burger at Denny's. That's just crazy, G.
Let me be, bro. It was a bad decision for today, but
I was like, this. I mean, he ate pancakes, right?
Hey, I tried some of my wife's pancakes. All right? We be sharing. You know what I mean? Once you get married, it happens like that.
You right?
What you gonna order? I want that too. We're gonna share that. At least that's how it works out for me,
man.
But no, yeah, it was a good day in regards to that. That was a random call, but again, it makes all the efforts and the late nights at the studio and all the relentless work.
Yeah.
Worth it, because then you know at least someone's out there listening, especially when we're doing it independent, 100%. You know what I mean? There's no backing, there's no cosigns, it's us.
No.
So yeah, bro, it's dope to get those, little signs of recognition, or the little signs that the work's happening.
I'm excited to see what happens. The 2 artists I've been working with, because we just finally started releasing music, and I think they're super special.
Yes.
So Jubal and Diana.
Yes.
And
both fire songs.
man, G. Like, I'm super excited about them. So I hope I get those phone calls too. Maybe not at Denny's. But,
but nah, we go. See, normally I do like, breakfast Bryn Mawr Club, or I hit up like there's this other spot in Park Ridge that we like going to. So I was like, but like I said, today was random, G. It was like one of those.
That's like the quick, and I know, because my mom be waking me up talking about Denny's, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Yeah, we can pick any place.
It was one of them. It was just one of them. We were cruising by, we just passed. Like, fuck it. Anyway, whatever. But again, the good call for today. But yeah, it just goes to show that man, we just got to put in the work. You know what I mean? And I'm sure those calls will start coming in. Another random, but same thing. I had a phone conversation in regards to the Generación guys from a label. And then, I mean, it just the reality of it is, how important it is for them to have their socials, up, and just the numbers to reflect, because they see the talent, they see the potential, they see what is gonna happen. But yeah, man, it's very important that the artists stay consistent with the content and just be yourself. You know what I mean? Do something that's true to yourself. I think that everyone feels they got to be a content creator. I don't think that's the case. Just make content that's you and share.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I always tell people, even with it's like we're at the time where like the content can be imperfect. They just want it to be real.
Yeah, man.
I just want to consume it.
At this point, we consume all levels of content, in the sense where it could look really nicely produced. It could look like it got shot, with a flip phone still, you know what I mean? And as long as it's entertaining, or as long as it gets the point across, or it's something that people want to connect with, then it's going to work.
Yeah.
So I just feel like the more important thing is that there's intent behind it.
Yes. And
then 2, that it's consistent. And I think if you have those 2 things, then you find your audience and you let it grow, and it doesn't have to feel phony. Because I mean, I speak for myself. It was always hard for me to do let me hold the phone and talk to it, and like randomly talk to nobody, because I just felt like, who's gonna, yes, that there's people listening, or there's someone else on the other side, but it took me some years to come like really realize that. Like,
I don't know, it's definitely a super awkward thing. I set up that studio again at the crib.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm going to create content. Like I was telling and I'm writing ideas down.
Hyping yourself up.
And I'm putting the tripod, and then I'm looking, and I was like, oh, I feel super awkward in front of this thing. But repetition did create that. For sure. All right, this is regular. There is someone on the other side. Like, make that content for that person. There's purpose to this. So
yeah, and I just feel to me the motive more than anything is just because I see a lot of the fluff. I see a lot of the misinformation sometimes.
The misinformation is the one that bothers me the most.
And also just sometimes a messenger.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's just, it's not coming from an honest place. Or something, you try to at least, try to get a good read on people.
Yeah.
So that's the motive, where I'm like, well, you got to fight the bad with the good sometimes. So it's like and again, back to the topic we had on the last first episode, sometimes you got to step up to the plate. You leave sometimes you fall back and you're waiting for someone else to kind of be that person.
Yeah. And
to play that role and to be to bring that perspective. And then you got to sit back and realize, like, maybe that's me.
Maybe that's me.
Yeah. And so again, if God in the world is kind of providing you and setting you up for that, it's like, yo, fam, you got to take that role. So that's been my motive in being a little more open to, and as much as I do talk when I talk, but it is my motive now to like actually follow through with it, because I do understand that it's connecting with people and that there's someone else on the other side. But cool, man. Anything else about your day, or before we get into some of these topics?
Dropping off my kid at school is always interesting, because now he plays Pokemon Go every morning. Okay.
So you got to catch him up.
Yeah, and then he's like, yo, show me your Pokemon. I was like, all right. And he's like, let me see what year you got that at, Dad. He's 7. He's like 2016. I was like, damn, I didn't even know this app was this old. Shit, I haven't opened this since 2016. That's crazy. Yeah,
my daughter went through a phase where she tried like Pokemon, and she kind of does. She collected cards, but And she was, I never got it. It was out of my.
I never. I mean, I watched it for a little bit with my
Yeah.
brother, but I never collected anything like that.
So I was like, respect. I tried getting into it with her, but she likes more music and singing and theater, a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, she was into that for a little bit. I went to pick up my daughter too. That was cool. Get to do that every once in a while, so I was able to do that today.
Yeah.
So that was dope. But yeah, other than that, I think we could get into some of these topics.
Yeah.
You cool with that? Well, I think one of the things that, and the reason this, I guess, it inspired this topic for me was specifically like the regional Mexican music right now and the evolution that sound is having.
Yeah.
So I think just that's a topic overall that we have to have about just hip hop music, R&B music, reggaeton, corridos, tumbados, and just regional Mexican music and everything, how the sound is evolving. So, like I said, for me, it really triggered it for me was seeing these younger generation of Mexican American kids, second generation, first generation here. They could have easily everyone could have wanted to just be a rapper because most if not all these kids are hip hop kids.
Yeah.
To some degree. So they all could have just tried to be a rapper. Instead, they're like, no, we like our music. We're proud of the music that, of our culture. And they're like, we're just going to reinvent it. And so to me, because I know coming up as a high school student and just in school in general, it wasn't necessarily cool to be listening to like Mexican music. At the time, it was an older genre. It was what our parents grew up on and stuff like that. And I liked it. I fucked with it because, again, that's what we grew up on. But it wasn't a cool thing. Hip hop was a dope shit. Hip hop was cool. It was what was in. So for me, just the fact that these shorties were like, we're going to take this and we're going to make it ours, like that's powerful because they could have easily just let the genre die or just let it keep outgrowing, itself. But to me, the fact that they didn't do that, and I see it, I see the same thing in hip hop, like just the fact that it is a youth driven culture, but it's needed because they're the ones that keeps it alive. You know what I mean?
I think what's interesting is how hip hop has crossed over to all genres. It's blurred the lines, right? So like you think of someone like, Tory Lanez, Drake, Bryson Tiller. They're rapping and singing on almost every record. Like they've blurred that line. And then when I listen to like corridos, like a Nathaniel, he's taken this hip hop approach to doing a corrido, which is insane. Like I didn't think that was ever I didn't even see that coming.
For sure. And to me, I think it was just interesting because these were sounds that I was already listening to as an artist.
Did you want to play with that when you?
Yeah, but there was no one that understood that vision. Like I was trying to talk to a hip hop producer about corridos. It wasn't working.
Right.
And the corridos guys were not trying to hear me about making some hip hop.
Where these kids like probably found a corrido instrumental and they're like, I'm gonna rap over this.
Yeah, exactly. Or they just, again, or a homie was just enough in touch enough with both sides of the generation where they're like, okay, cool, I could take the sound and update it. And again, man, I just give them the props for them to do it because the same way a lot of people say certain genres die, jazz, whatever, it takes the younger generation to be like, we're going to keep evolving this and we're going to make it some things, make it a thing. I think the older generation sometimes, they got something to say because it's like anything, or what are they talking about? Or, but to me, it's like, these shorties are like, picking up guitars, They're they're not going to school for this stuff. They're learning on YouTube, They're learning on their own. Like it takes something to, to do that, Again, giving yourself that credit, like we said that first episode. So I just think it was really dope that they're taking that approach and they're reclaiming, their culture.
Yeah. It really reminds me of the 2000s when the reggaeton artists started doing salsa records.
Yep.
And they did that whole compilation salsa album.
Yep.
It really brought me back to that. I was just like, damn, this is happening again.
Exactly.
And now it's happening with this type of music.
Exactly, yeah. And like we said, we've seen the evolution. To me, same thing in reggaeton. Had its peak, it had its prime for, certain years. And then obviously it went through its transformations.
Yeah.
But it also took someone like Bad Bunny to fucking, take it to a whole nother stratosphere.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I think it's the same thing with these corridos. It's going to take these shorties. This is the first generation of them figuring it out, evolving these sounds. It's going to go through its phase. I'm sure it's going to have its peak. And then someone's going to come a couple years later and it's going to completely reinvent it.
I'm really excited about that because I feel like the Latino fan is a very loyal fan.
Yeah. For sure.
And the loyalty can span several decades.
Yes.
Like we're still listening to salseros from the 70s.
Yes.
Happily.
Yep.
So like,
there's definitely a respect for the entertainer, for the musician. I think in the Latino market, I'll say this just from working as a manager with rappers and with regional Mexican music. When you're managing a hip hop artist, the promoters, everyone's looking at it as like the artist has to pay their dues. If you're hitting up a promoter for a show, and if it's a new artist, 99% chance you're going to want to perform for free, or they got to sell tickets, whatever the case may be. With the regional Mexican music, the moment a promoter hits you up or you hit them up, how much do you guys charge an hour? Well, it's very business. It's very straightforward. They understand that you're the entertainment. They understand that the people coming out here to dance and have a good time, they're there because you guys are playing, and so it's a respected
it's so crazy
profession to some extent. And I know sometimes musicians and artists don't feel that way by how they're compensated or whatever. That's another conversation. But just the simple fact that it's very different.
Oh yeah, every reggaeton show I've booked for an artist has been a paid gig.
Yeah,
and like it's been 4 and 5 figures.
Yeah,
like it's out the gate.
Yeah, exactly. It's just known. The model is different. And with a hip hop artist, it's like you got to earn your stripes. You got to pay your dues. You got to do all these free shows. So hopefully you build that reputation or the demand. Then you're going to bring in heads.
How different.
Yeah, but again, that exists. So I just think that respect for the musician, the artist is definitely there.
Oh yeah,
a little differently. And so because of that, I do think that we, so even us as the there's younger generations, like you said, listening to older generation of music, and they're getting inspired by it, daily. It's the same way hip hop artists sampled, and got inspired. It's just happening now for these kids, and they're tapping into the old songs that their parents used to listen to and just updating them. And I think it's dope, man.
I like how we're tapping into the Latin market from Chicago. Like I feel like 10 years ago, I felt like I had to be in Puerto Rico or in Mexico or South America, but the internet's like giving us this leeway. But also we get to put in our sound. We get to mix our sound in with that. So like, it's really interesting that we're able to make an impact from here. For sure, man. I mean, again, man, I think Chicago's a powerful city. Has a big reputation no matter where you go. Yeah. No matter where I've traveled, if I tell somebody I'm from Chicago, it's just like, okay. Oh yeah. And it's like, you from Chicago. You're from like, the outskirts or whatever. It's just like, okay, it's just a respect level that people just have about us. So I think if we deliver the product, high quality product, and we're able to back it up, I think that's the only missing piece right now, man. Yeah. It's always going to be the music business. Yeah. How we package it. For sure. But yeah, so we were talking about just the Latino market here in Chicago and us being able to build off of it as opposed to having to go somewhere else with it. Yeah. Honestly, I think that was a goal. Like how we talked about goals in that first episode. My whole goal was like, I wanted to create an industry here. I want to create our own table here. Sure. I understand that New York cuts the checks. LA, you cut the records, but I felt like the talent here was so different with the internet. I never saw that as like a block or an obstacle. Yeah, I agree. I've never once did I take that as like you understood it. Like, and again, you see the differences when things were moving in the city and whatever, but I never took that as a reason not to go. Like, because again, I think the reputation that we had as like the artists that have came out of Chicago and that have like taken their claim, we have a good reputation. And when it happens in a big way. Yeah. So that's why I never had that chip on my shoulder in a way. And I felt like, again, I think I always, Chicago had this whole stigma of like haters. And I think that's just this whole, and it depends what city you're in. I think everyone has that. I never compete with anyone here in general with anything that I do. And that's not to take away from what anyone's doing here, but I just feel like we should all be striving for more. Oh, yeah. Honestly, not to take away from anyone. When I would watch the Atlanta scene, I was always like, damn, like these guys may be competitors, but they uplift each other. Yeah. So you could have been the weakest one in that pack, and it was like, oh, we still all coming up. Exactly. I think Gucci Mane did like a really good job of that. One of the best A&Rs. Yeah. Bro, his roster's insane. Yep. And there's a lot of them like that, brother, that they have the ear, and they open doors for a lot of people. So it's important, man. People that actually come from it, that live there, that have the ear to the streets and just connected. They're important, man. So I think that, that's why the roles that we play here and a lot of people similar to us, it's important, man, for the artists to have those people on their side and for the culture to have them because, we move the needle. Yeah. So one of the things we were talking about is like, as far as
like the playing field being leveled right now, where everyone's trying to figure it out, right? It's a lot of things are restructuring. I think that at the end of the day, it's whoever's using their phone and content and connecting to the people or the people winning. Yes, funding is necessary. Yes, funding from labels and all that helps move the needle. But I think that we have the same tools.
You know what's crazy though? You know what's really happening with these artists is like, let's talk about that hot topic, which is like, oh, but I want to stay super independent.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to figure out what the fuck they're talking about when they say super independent.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because you got to be doing things alone.
That's like, I feel like I've had these conversations with the artists where it's like, oh, my music speaks for itself. Mm-hmm. I'm like, does it? I was like, because I've seen your last 10 releases. Mm-hmm. You got 100 spins a song.
Yeah.
We're still independent. Like, let's say they're signed to Private Stock or Loop Theory. Mm-hmm. We're independent. I think the whole point is we're trying to move for you. Yeah. And we're trying to create that buffer to protect you and your creativity.
Yep.
I think a goal of mine has always been to like, yo, I'm trying to upstream you, but I'm trying to create that partnership with that major. It's not so just for me to get ahead. It's I want to be that buffer so that you have creative control.
Yeah.
Why is that a problem?
I don't know, because I think realistically, just as well as they could pick someone else to work with, we could pick another artist to work with. Like you said, it's not that it's anyone in particular. Yes, there are artists, I mean, I'll speak for myself, that I connect with and that I work with. I am particular, and I'm just as much as I'm sure you are with who you add on your roster. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because it is a big commitment outside of just...
well, I think when we're independent, when we're this small of a team, that connection we're making with the artist is more of a family.
Yeah, for sure.
So now it's a hyper focus. We're not an ocean. This is a micro fishbowl.
Yes.
So like if we're choosing to work with that artist, that's a huge leap.
For sure. And I think that just, again, it has to be a mutual respect. And again, we touched on that the first episode, but I think it's very necessary, man, because it's both having faith in one another that we're going to, you know, and again, any one of us could work with whoever, but if we're making that commitment to work together, it's because we see that, we see the impact that we're about to have, and we just stick through with it. But I do agree. I think that when these partnerships do come across for the artists and the opportunities do come up, I think that's the moment for them to level up. I think that's the moment not to succeed, you know, fall back. It's the moment to show up, show out. Now you have some resources or additional network or whatever the case is, bandwidth that you might have not had prior to this partnership. Like, use that to your advantage, but that doesn't mean stop doing everything that you were doing prior to that.
I think that's really important. That we really have to like hyper focus on that, is that we're trying to double up.
Yeah.
So if we saw the whole package with you, continue to do that, and let me expand on that.
Exactly.
Don't let me just take over your shit.
Yeah.
Because I may not necessarily understand your entire vision.
Yeah.
So I just want to, I want to double up.
And then the reason we reached out, or the reason we connected, is because of everything that you were doing.
Absolutely.
It was
the
working.
whole encompassing, like the entire thing.
Yes. So to me, it's like, stay consistent with it. Let us just add value to what you're already doing.
Oh, yeah.
But again, I think a lot of times, you know, artists just get the misconception of, cool, now I have someone that's going to handle certain things for me. I can fall back and focus on music. And that should be the case. We do want to get to the point where, but I do think, I always tell all my artists, you should be vested into your career outside of just the music making process. Because I don't ever want you to be anywhere and not feel sure of, or feel informed, or feel confident in the situation that you're in, and whether I'm in the room or not. Like, you should be able to hold your own, because if the day tomorrow comes and I'm not here and you still got to handle your business, you worked with me all these years and you weren't educated on nothing. Like, how to handle yourself. Like, that's just a survival skill that we want for all of our kids. Like, I always tell my nephews, like, your parents just want you to make sure you're okay. Like, they don't care how you get to your end goal. They just want to make sure that you're successful and that you're good. Like, sometimes you guys don't agree and it's not eye to eye, but at the end of the day, they just want to know that on the day they're not here, that you're going to be able to survive. You know what I mean? And so I think it's the same thing with these artists. Like, I want that to be the case with them.
Oh yeah. And I think I want them to appreciate more too, that we're coming from an era too where the labels wanted to create what I used to call factory music. Mm-hmm. They had a formula. They wanted that club banger and whatnot. Like, now we have this full control for you to be yourself. Yes, we're a room of creatives. Yeah. But I want you to be the creative director, because this is your future. Yeah. And you know, I want this to be as true to you as possible.
Exactly. And I just think, as far as like, the partnerships I have with my artists, like I'm very pro artist, so it's like they own their music, they own their masters, stuff like that. So I always tell them like the reason a label exists and the funding that's there is because there's that investment that they have, and some way, somehow they're going to make their money from that music that they own from you. I'm giving you the liberty to move and partner with me and build together while still having that advantage of, hey, the day I don't come, you're still going to be able to feed your family because you got these records under you and whatever the case may be. I feel that I'm not going to win just from one place. No, I'm not. That's never been my, like, the way I move. It's never, my motive's never been that, like, oh, I got to bet all my chips on this person because this person's going to change. Nope. I bet on everyone, and I'm as confident in everyone that I bet on, but I know that I'm not going to win one way. Yes. And there's not one way to win.
No. And I think the way I've diversified our portfolio over here was like, sure, we do have the label.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, but we got the recording studio. Mm-hmm. Oh, but we got the creative agency.
Yep.
Oh, but we got this project management team. I was like, I had to make sure. I was like, hey guys, we can't. I don't want to depend on just eating from the artist because I don't want that pressure on the artist. And that's the thing. Like I want you to freely create.
And in all reality, brother, it's not a sustainable business model.
No, it's not.
Especially when we're working with artists at the ground level that we're working on. We're not working with anyone that already has some. We're working ground zero. A couple of followers.
I get
see
that
the potential early on.
I get that conversation. I'm like, oh, it's like, why do you do what you do? I was like, I thoroughly enjoy working with that. I want to see someone. Yeah. Come from that concrete. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like
I thrive off that. Yep.
I need to see that. Like I'm man, gee, like it's if I get someone that's viral and I've chased that before, right? Yeah. I've had that viral person, that person has 3 million followers. I was like, that's cool, but I didn't help grow that. So I don't really understand how they even got there. Yeah. But if I grow with someone that I believe in from the bottom,
it's a different feeling.
It's a different feeling. We can share that vision together, and I understand more of what that roadmap looks like.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, in those situations where you set up with someone like that does have the following, that does have that, again, we are in the music business. So there are certain situations that are going to be for, the motives of business.
And I can make plays. That's it. I make plays with those artists. Yeah, for sure. But it's just it's
That's
different.
What I'm saying, but it's a different feel. It's different. Yeah, it's like anything else. It's like when we earn it, it just tastes a little different.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. So yeah, man, I think that, again, the thing for me more than anything that I want artists to take away from this is that right now, the playing field is leveled. Take advantage of it. People are listening. I get phone calls from labels, promoters, from either a link that they saw that someone passed them and one of my artists performing, whatever the case may be. But it always comes back to some of the work that we put in. As long as you're putting in the work and as long as it's consistent, and like I said, as long as there's some intent behind it, you're going to connect with someone. But, and obviously it works if you're talented and if you actually, the music is dope and all that, then, it's going to even be more impactful when it does come through. But, yeah, man, I think that right now, just artists, for them to understand that it's take advantage of it. Yeah. Have fun with it, make content that's original and honest to who you are and put it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just get like, I think this is what I think about most of the time. Is like those partnerships with those artists. Like once a team does believe in you, it's like you got to take advantage of that because they want to move with you.
I mean, I know as an entrepreneur, man, and just a person with a vision, finding people that align and that want to and I'll speak to you because I've came across certain people. And the homie Scendsei back here, he's one of the ones that I've had early on in my team who, the moment I told him my vision, my brother has never thought twice about it. He's rode for me and has transitioned with me with every version of the vision. It's very seldom that you find people like that. So I think that's the tougher part for artists. Like, fam, when you finally find people that are like, yo, I'm genuinely riding for you, and I I'm trying to make that work. Yeah, because it's very seldom. Like, I speak for myself. It's hard to find people. Like, you could have a great vision for your business. You could have a business plan. You could have all these other things, but for someone to actually commit to it through with you and some of the reasons we connected were because of that, because we were having these conversations like, man, if I could have a clone to do some of the things that, and we're like, well, fam, we could maybe offset some of these things that that's on our plate. And so I just think that, again, for the artists, once you find those people, I mean, take advantage of it. Not in a bad way, but like appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And come to work, come with a plan, give them work. Don't just expect them just to do the work for you. Bring the ideas to the table too. Yes, it is our responsibility to do that. But again, I think there is a genuine connection when the artist is enthusiastic enough to like bring stuff to the table. Because how much more genuine can the content be that if it comes from them or the ideas come from them? You know what I mean? You
know what stuck out with that? What you just said though, your day one, like son, right? Like that's something I really appreciate as my team. Like this team that we've built over here, man, we're really a family. Yeah. Like when I've had my bad days or whatever, they make sure whatever I had to do, I can handle that for the day, or I can handle that for the week. It might be a bad week.
Yeah, exactly.
And aside from having artists, I do appreciate like the immediate team that I have. Yeah. Like I love them.
For sure, man. And you need that. I mean, that is, in any successful business, you're only as good as the person, next to you. And you have to, and if you're not building the people next to you to win, if you're not leading by example, if you're not, like we touched on in the first episode, which is just building them up, right? Yeah. Building the people around you up. To me, that's what you leave behind. That's where the impact's at. So it's like,
and that's how you create the industry here.
Yeah, I agree.
You build those people that share your vision.
Yep, for sure, man. So I got a random question for you, my boy. You know how sometimes you be going down to like, a supermarket or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you be driving by a restaurant or something, you be like, man, who keeps these people in business? Like, who be buying this shit? You know what I mean? It happens sometimes, right?
It happens.
So, but what's the one thing that you're keeping in business? Like, what's your guilty pleasure? What's the one thing that you might be like, you come across the supermarket and you're like, cop these, I don't know, red velvet Oreos, some shit. That's some bacon flavored chips.
Frozen White Castle. Holy shit.
My mans was talking about my Denny's. I don't feel bad no more.
My son be asking for it too.
That burger was delicious.
Man, that shit, it hits different. Like it might be the middle of the night, you might be having a couple beers, and you're like, that shit might hit.
Word, it's gonna hit.
It's gonna hit.
It's gonna hit a couple different ways. Actually.
Fuck.
All right, so you keeping Frozen White Castles in business. All right.
Unfortunately.
Let's see, what am I keeping in business? Oh man, Denny's apparently,
and the fucking burger. Holy shit!
Yeah, I'm keeping the burger in the menu. I mean, so hey, no, let me check this out. Random fucking experience ones, right? I went to this another breakfast spot, not Denny's, and we used to get. I fuck with chili, right? I like chili.
I like chili.
I like making it, but the spot had a decent chili. It was a breakfast spot, had decent chili, and it was a little thing. We always had it like right before.
I'm really scared about the story.
Nah, it's not bad. There was no like crazy shit in the chili. Okay. But one day we get there, normal, chatted with the waitress. Can we get our chili? Fan, she said, we took the chili off the menu.
That's the only reason I come here.
Bro, my wife and me and my daughter, like all of us looked at each other like, damn.
The fuck is happening here?
Yo, you just messed up the little ritual before lunch.
Oh my God.
And so she told us that the reason they took it off was because not a lot of people were ordering the chili.
So it was just y'all.
Hold up. I got it. But I came up with a conspiracy theory. All right. Check me out. So one time, me and my wife went for lunch and we got the chili. So we were like, yo, I'll take one to go for my daughter. We got to the crib. It wasn't chili. They give me a split pea soup. Very different than chili. How could you mistake that? Right?
The fuck exactly. Is that?
Split pea soup. You never had split pea soup?
No.
All right, my G. Well, split pea soup. So my daughter, she's cool. She's a G. She had it. It was delicious to her, right?
All right.
But then all of a sudden, the next time we go, the chili's off the menu, right?
That was the last time.
Wait, guess who opened down the block?
Who?
Wendy's. Wendy said, ain't nobody else moving chili on this block but me and G.
He was gangbanging on the breakfast spot.
That's the only thing I could think of, bro. Because why would you just randomly take the chili off the menu? Like, where do you go to your favorite spot and they tell you, nah, that stuff that you like, we don't sell it no more?
You know what? It's like, quite possible that's...
So the only logical thing for me is that happened. Is that Wendy's came through and said, nah.
You know, I was going to ask what spot it is, but I don't even want to give that space any love at this point.
We are the only ones that I'm moving chili on his block. So yeah, that's the one thing that I'm keeping in business. I'm keeping the chili at the diners in business.
You were until you weren't. Oh my God.
Apparently I was the only one because they took it off. Because
Like,
no one
someone
else
just
was
family
buying
of 3
it.
coming in here buying this shit. We can take this shit off.
Yo, let's look at the numbers. It's always just 3 people once a month.
We're selling this 6 times a month, man. We good. It's just 6 people. They came in twice.
Exactly. It's just saying 3 people.
Oh my God.
Hey, G. That just goes, right? But yeah, all right. On that note, I don't know if that was any giving out game, but that just goes to show you if you like something at a diner, tell your friends to order it so they keep it on the menu.
Shit.
That's the giving out game part for that. And the giving out game part for yours, if you're eating White Castle,
Don't
you know
do
what I mean?
it, actually.
Double up on the wipes. I don't know.
I'm not even sure why I still do this shit.
Yeah. So on that note, we had a good episode. Episode 2. Thank you for the feedback on episode 1. I think we got a good little reception.
Yeah, I thought that was really dope.
And one of the things I guess I want to make sure that we just kind of talk about before we leave is I want to be like very transparent with what our purpose is in doing this stuff. I know we're joking around and everything, but I want to make sure that as we keep talking with our audience, right, and the people that are listening, that they know our purpose and how we're connecting with them and why we're connecting with them. Right? I think with our peers, and it was evident from the first episode that we did that we're touching on parenting and other things outside of music, is that with our peers, there's a lot of things that the things that we talk about, we hope that they could relate to in whatever industry that they're in, right? Yeah. And I think that's going to be very important in all the things that we talk about, that yes, it's going to be based around music because that is the industry that we're in. But I do think that we talk about it in a perspective that anyone from any field and any background in any industry could relate to it. And I think that's our approach with every time we do one of these. And I want our peers to know that's our purpose in this. So every time you come to us, you're going to get a little something different every time. But the goal is that you're going to walk away with something for either your own personal gain or your business or whatever the case may be. Right?
Yeah.
And then for the shorties, right? Because again, I've done a lot of work with youth and just real life connections. Man, a lot of these shorties, all they're really looking for is someone to speak to them, someone to an OG. They need an uncle. They need a big brother. They need a father figure sometimes. And so I think that's our approach in how we're doing these things. And when we're talking to the younger people, it's never talking down to anyone. It's never not coming from a place of understanding. I think we want them to understand that they have a resource in us. Yeah. That they have 2 people, at least here in the city in Chicago. And if you don't live here, from wherever you're at, that you can reach out to, ask some questions. And get some guidance. Too. Yeah, and get some guidance. So I just want, I want to make sure that we're very transparent with that in our mission and what we're doing this, that, it's us just here talking about random stuff and some stuff that we're passionate about. But I want to make sure that the overall purpose and intent is clear with why we're doing this and what we plan on it becoming.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I mean, episode to episode, they'll see it.
Yep. Episode 2.
Yeah.
Good shit. All right, y'all. Peace.